past is always present.
But there has to be a spark. Something that brings the past to light.
Please climb carefully. Carefully you don't roll backwards. It's a long way. Down. Take a moment to rest before you walk, mistress, please. Alright, and this requires a QWERTY keyboard. A bricked up opening. There is something here. To keep people out, do you think? Or to keep something in? There's something written here. Ancient script. This must have been cut in when the mortar was still wet, but I think I can read it. The more astute people will notice that this was in the original logo for the entire game. So this also is something to keep in mind. If that says Heaven's Vault, keep that in mind as we start trying to decipher things later. This is actually a cutscene from later on in the game. So some weeks earlier at the University of Iox.
My story begins on Iox. That was where I met the robot.
Mistress Aliyah. Mistress Aliyah Elisara. I've been waiting for you. I have been asked to escort you to Professor Mayari. She is very anxious for your arrival. Am I in trouble? I'm in trouble, aren't I? She did not say, but I imagine she is simply being welcoming. This way. Do you have a name, robot? Is that intended to be a joke, mistress? No. Robots do not have names. We are, as I understand it, interchangeable. I've known a few robots. They're all a little different. How kind of you to say so, mistress. So, why has she sent you? Did you do something wrong? That seems unlikely. My ethical core protects me from serious error. This way. You should know that the professor's urgency was remarkable.
When Mayari rescued me from the slums of Elbereth and brought me here. I'd never seen such luxury or such kindness.
Question. Why is Mayari's room so far from everything? I imagine she enjoys her view of the tree, mistress. I am sure it is most pleasing to her. So throughout the game you do get the option of you're using WASD to move. I think you can use the controller. I mean, you can use a controller, but let's see. Oh, map under tab. Mayari wanted to see me for something. She said it was urgent. We are here at Iox, and you can see all these kind of flowing, what look like rivers. We'll see what those are in just a little bit. We talked about Elbereth. It's where I moor up when I want to sleep well, but not today. Merci. Merci is a moon in the Ix Protectorate, but that's all I know about it. And Renaki. Renaki is a market moon, far from the outside reach of Ix. I've never been there. Should probably turn down the text speed just a little bit. Turn up mouse sensitivity. This question. What is your ethical core anyway? What good is it? Is that a joke? Obviously, it is what stops me from pushing humans off of cliffs, mistress. Is that something you want to do? It was simply an example, mistress. Were it to be convenient for me to do so, my core would prevent me. So the style of this game is very interesting. The designers opted to have every asset in the game just basically a hand-drawn, or hand-done drawing, and then as you turn, it just changes which angle it's from. How reliable is your core? Evidently, it is the core of my being, mistress. If it goes, I go. We'll have plenty of time to talk later. Professor Mayari. Aaliyah, there you are. Come in. Do you want this robot to wait outside? And why would I want that? Thank you, Professor. It's good to see you again. I came as soon as I got your message. You don't need to flatter me, Aaliyah. Nonetheless, I'm glad you came. I know your work is important to you. My work is important to everyone. Well, today it's important to me. You're our expert on history. Tell me what you make of this. Well, it's certainly old. Empire period. The device is the eagle and sun. One of the scholars sent this brooch to me. Janiki Renba. Did you know him? Did. Look at the detail. I see them. Ancient markings. They're a hobby of yours, Aaliyah. But can you read them? I've never seen either of these groupings before. But the two words have some common elements, so they must have related meanings. Well... So here it gives you two options for what we've got. Something that means beloved or potentially friend as a secondary meaning, or rather as the root word that you recognize. So if you know what friend is, it seems like this might be beloved, and emperor are your two options for this particular word. As we go back, then we have holy and friend. I believe that this is holy emperor. You can review and then continue. If later on we decide that this is wrong, we will come back and fix it. Otherwise, we could also, we'll also have words up here, which we know definitely to be true, which are related-ish to the words that are given here. Holy Emperor? But I'm only guessing. I don't know if that helps at all. Renba wasn't the kind to send me trinkets. There's some significance to this brooch, but I don't know what. Janiki told me he'd found something. That was over a month ago. Janiki isn't like you. He's an Ioshan through and through. You're worried about him. He's important to me, and I don't know what he was doing out there. He told me he was going to a moon called Mercy. I can't go hunting the nebula for missing people, Lilia. But you can. That is what you do, isn't it? Find things. I'll look, but no promises. That's fair. Thank you. Come back soon, Aaliyah. And Aaliyah, you're taking that robot with you. Thank you, Professor. I long to see the nebula. Oh, and before you go, you should look in on Huang. He was eager to see you. Eager? Why? Aaliyah. Really. I couldn't possibly imagine. I know he's rather beneath you, but you could at least say good faith to him. For the benefit of our little community. I'll bear that in mind. You're as cold as the rivers themselves. Well suited to the stars. He's down there by the tree. You must have walked straight past him on your way in. Good hunting, my dear. Would you recognize Renba if we saw him? Did you meet him? I believe he activated me, Mistress, after I was uncovered. I suspect that is why Professor Mayari assigned me to you. And can I just say, Mistress Aaliyah, it is wonderful to be accompanying you. If you're going to be following me around, I'll have to give you a name. I'm calling you Six. Six, Mistress. I shall remember that. I wonder if I got Mayari's translation correct. I think I did. The shape shows this is an Empire piece. Ding! So we know this is Emperor. And the Emperors believe themselves to be gods, so it makes sense that the words would be almost the same. Holy. Ding! Alright, so once you get a good base to work from, then you can start getting other stuff. But it still doesn't tell me, where does this thing come from? So you were really dug out of a wall on Iox? I believe I was removed from a wall. The exact events are hazy. And you can also go into your inscriptions section and start looking at all of the individual inscriptions that you have. In this case, we have learned Emperor, learned Holy, and we have this timeline, which is actually pretty helpful here. Says like, okay, 30 seconds ago we learned this. Okay, yep. 1 minute and 30 seconds ago. 2 minutes and 18 seconds ago, we were given another robot. And then we can go back. Mary wants me to find her friend. Mary gave me a brooch. As we zoom out, we can see that this goes back. Visited Iox about 22 minutes ago. And then we can start zooming out further and further. Professor Mayari wants me back on Iox about 4 hours ago. Now, I didn't start playing this game until just now, but the entire modern age is in here. So, days. Renba disappears somewhere about 23 days ago. Renba sends brooch to Professor Mayari about 25 days ago. Renba finds the brooch about 27. Renba sails to Marasy somewhere around a month ago. Six awakes on Iox somewhere in this, like, 6 months to 3 years ago. Robots on Iox were buried in the walls. Some can still be heard. And now we can actually go back and see all of Aaliyah's past. So here we have Oroi buys 3. We don't know who Oroi is, but Aaliyah does. 3 breaks down. I get my 3rd robot, and it breaks down, and we sell it to Oroi. 6 is buried on Iox somewhere about 950 years ago. So somewhere between the Ancient and Holy Empires. Crown of Iox was forged somewhere around 550 to 600 years ago. Fashioning of the eagle-shaped brooch appears to be about 500 years ago. The last emperor disappears somewhere around 350 years ago. Oops. University of Iox is established around 210 years ago. The Loop Temple reestablished in Iox about 265. Founding of Iox Protectorate about 180 years, 175 years ago. The Fallers established power on Iox. The Fallers destroyed the Empire, but they never extended their reach beyond Iox. Generations passed in obscurity. So we can go back and get all sorts of cool stuff now. So ancient times, we don't know a whole lot that goes back beyond, like we've got this stuff 10,000 years ago, but we don't actually know what's going on back there. So ancient time was somewhere about 1700 to 4,000 years ago, give or take. And most of the stuff that we care about right now is going on roughly 1,000 years ago or more recent. Alright, there's Huang. Maybe he knows something about Renba. Leah, I didn't know you were back on Iox. Professor Mayari wanted to see me. Nothing bad. Perhaps, I'm not sure. She wanted me to find someone. Anyone I know? Chiniki Remba. Might as well be honest. But I know Remba, of course. Well, a little. What did he teach? He's a roboticist. One of the best. One of the few. But why has she sent you to find him? I thought you dug things up. By the waters, Aaliyah, what's happened to Janiki? I'll let you know. By the waters. Before you go, it hardly seems important now, but I found a line of ancient in the Annals of Mazwai I thought you might like. If you have the time, that is. Show me and I'll let you know if I have the time. Here, see what you think. Naturally, as we start getting longer and longer stretches, we start being able to decipher things a bit easier. I know one of these words. I'll have to guess the other two. So we have a bunch of symbols here, which could be either buried or banished. And then here, labors being something like work. Circuits being like circuit, rebels from rebel, or robots from robot. Now, we don't actually have any context really for what this should be. We know Empress looks something like this, and we know that Holy had a bunch of stuff before it had, I think, this whole bit in it. It's not going to show us. Okay. So there's a commonality between Empress and this stuff over here. Now, given that this could be laborers, circuits, rebels, or robots, typically, me personally, I think that this little hook lambda sort of looking thing is really connected to like personage. So you're talking about people of some kind or another. In this particular case, if it talks about like either banishes or burying, then probably it could be like banishes rebels or buries the robots, which we know is a thing because we just dug up 6, or well, Renba dug up 6. So I'm going to go with buried robots. I think that's correct. 1. Did robots give orders? Is that so hard to believe? We are statistically sound. I'd best not keep you. I hope you find him. Shall we proceed to your ship now? Have you sailed before 6? I have no idea, mistress. But I am keen to find out. No. What? No. So we left the hallowed walls of the university. I wanted to ask him about the sculpture because that was something that we could actually do. But aboard the Nightingale. My ship is my refuge. It's the only place that is truly mine. The journey to Miarchi should be quick, mistress. Do you think Mario's friend is in trouble? As I say, mistress, we should know shortly if we depart. What do you know about Mercy? Nothing. It is a moon of pigs and rice, mistress. That's something. Part of the Iox Protectorate, of course. Maybe Mercy will have a few ruins of its own. That seems unlikely, but it is not wealthy. Nonetheless, I will prepare the robes. Alright, so if we want to get to Merci, we need to plot a course. Tiny rural moon. It's where Janiki told Professor Mayari he was going right before he disappeared. But why does a roboticist visit a rice farm? So if you plot the course, it shows you how to get there, and it will help you get there on the main map. You have a ship called the Nightingale, which is a sailing ship that sails in space, literally. So we're up in a large nebula.
Us to sail to Mayerzi. It was a short sail through fast waters.
Take the next right momentarily, mistress. I see the force of the river is fastest in the middle, mistress. On the surface it appears the same, but there are deeper currents below. So if you sweep the sail by clicking the right mouse button, it allows you to get a quick jet of speed. So if you start missing a turn or anything like that, you might be able to just real quick pop it in. This is your ship, mistress. That's Mersey. You can see the greenery from here. So anyway, all of these appear to be like miniature planets or moons or stuff like that, which are inside of the nebula. If Rumba's here, I need to find him, and if he's not, I need to work out where he went.
We stepped off the ship and into the mud. Mud covered the ground and rock. And everywhere I looked, things were growing from the mud. And some of those things had legs.
Look at this place. Breathe the air. I cannot breathe, mistress. As you are no doubt aware. Well then, let's see where Remba's got to. If we're really lucky, he'll have found an old pot. Being a roboticist? Probably not. 6. How long were you buried on Iox? I have no idea, mistress. I do not remember it. Really? And you don't know why you were buried? No, mistress. I can only assume I was not needed. There's something here. Lucky. A tough, sharp-pronged key. I think it dates from the Holy Empire? The maker didn't include an inscription along the barrel of the key. This comes from the same site as the brooch. The one Mayari gave me on Iox. Having this should help us find the place. So, the brooch and the key both come from this unknown site, which is somewhere in the Cyclones region. We don't know exactly where it is, but as you get more objects which are from this particular place, it starts triangulating this down to, like, you know, we'll find 1 or 2 places, maybe 3 places, or potentially 4 or 5, I guess, within the Cyclones that are like the that are potential dig sites for the place where these things came from. And then once we get that, we can hop into this area or sail into this area and then find that particular site. So where do we start? There is a series of rice terraces. If we climb up away from the water, that should take us to the village. Yeah, I got that. So typically if you find something interesting, it'll pop up as a little dot, and then you can start working your way toward it. It's also very interesting, the sort of ghosted thing. There is no way I am crossing that, mistress. Robots cannot swim. The wood's strong enough, 6. The wood is a laughable substance to build floor from, mistress. It can be chewed through by mice. Alright, this way then.
The air smelled earthy and sweet.
Rice. Do they grow anything else here? It would not appear so. So were you off while you were buried on Iox? Asleep? Is that why you can't remember it? I do not know, mistress. I cannot remember. I mean, maybe the roboticists wiped your memory after they dug you up. If I'd been buried alive for 100 years, I'd be mad. It was longer than that. 1,000 years, perhaps. But I cannot remember them. Look at this thing. Where's she from? Goddess erected on Mercy during the ancient times? Judging from the material, I wouldn't judge it wasn't quarried here, but most likely close by. It is very big, you understand. Can't be sure? No. It has been long enough for its various radiation signatures to have faded. There's something carved here. So just a heads up, I will absolutely go after every single translation I can, so that means that this might end up being tedious, but that's alright. Well, it's alright for me anyway. These symbols are a little bit like my translation for Emperor. Alright, so here we have something that is identical to the contents of Holy and similar to the contents of Emperor. We can see like there's this little comma that's stuck between the two symbols, and here we have both of those. So is this goddess? Is it stone? Is it child? Is it you? Most likely, since it's very similar to holy, it's going to be goddess or something similar. And here we have light, water, snake, and death with the wobbly things here. That most likely looks either like snakes or water. And this being a farming planet or a farming moon, water seems like a pretty easy bet. So holy water goddess, perhaps? There's certainly plenty of water here. She's guarding their most precious resource, keeping it all fertile. What's this? Almost buried in the grass. A shard of crystal. Does it mean anything to you, Six? It is most curious. This moon does not contain any crystals of this type. But the brooch Master Remba sent to the professor does. The mineral is the same. Do you think Remba left it here? New site indicated. Some kind of clue? So we're getting Crystal Moon out here, and then the unknown site in here, so we're starting to get an overlapping region, which is going to eventually get smaller and smaller. Statistically, yes. But we cannot be sure. Perhaps we should return to the ship. Yeah, no. Are the shard and the brooch enough to find him? Perhaps. Let's try the village first. Can you do a scan for Janiki or something? The mistress has mistaken me for a dog. Perhaps if you believe I had a scrap of clothing, then I could trace its scent. You're not much use, then. I have visual scanners of exceptional quality, mistress. If I see him, I will let you know. A warehouse. I thought I saw a face at the window. Well, yes. A woman. She ducked out of sight. Suppose there's nothing old here? No ruins, no ancient kings, no crumbled towers. Of course not, mistress. This is a farmyard. I think the idea we're getting at here, or he's getting at here, is that like the soil is tilled so often that there wouldn't be anything, any ruins or anything like that. At least not very often. I will wait out here, mistress. You. Please, I'm looking for someone. You are from Iox? I'm looking for a man called Janiki. My tall Ioshan. He left something for you. With the goddess to keep it safe. I found it. A crystal. But I don't know what it means. He told me you would understand. I hope you find it, Miss Mayari. You can't tell me what he was doing here? He was looking for something. In the sky. He was always watching the rivers. I have to go now. I don't want them to see me talking to you. But... Janiki, where are you? Buried in the mud somewhere? Most curious, mistress. You heard? But I did not understand. Except that it would seem that someone from Iox has visited here recently. Do you think there's more to be learned here, mistress? Shall we leave? There must be something here to discover. Oh, a gleam in the grass. Is that something in the mud? No, nothing here. Get my hopes up. What do you make of Rendba's brooch, anyway, Six? The one he sent to Mayari. I was struck by the craftsmanship. It seemed very fine to me. It is an artisanal product, high status. How much higher? One more level, mistress. There's not many people tending all of these crops. Plants are not like pigs. They do not require constant husbandry. What do you know about pigs? I meet people. They are also livestock. Thanks. The sound design for this game is also pretty amazing. Similar to what we had for something like Outer Wilds. Yep. Stranger. Oh dear. Greetings. Greetings to you. Welcome to Merazi. You have come to trade? This is a beautiful moon you have. It is wet enough for us, certainly. Perhaps you can help me. I'm looking for someone. Who? Not a Meridian, surely. We're alike as ants to you. Well, that's not true. So you are looking for a Maotian. My friend is an Ioshan. We do not keep any of those in our pens. Good luck with your search. They say the nebula is wide. Helpful. Mistress, if I may ask, if you weren't rooting in the mud for lost robotics, what would you be doing at this moment? It must be at the top now. Oh, come on now. There should be a communal point somewhere here. What would I be doing? I'd be sailing the uncharted reaches of the nebula looking for shipwrecks. There are places out there where no one's been for hundreds of years. These are echoes of ancient voices. But no. Instead, I'm standing in pig muck. Otherwise, I'd be scouring the markets of Elbereth looking for interesting objects. Things have a life of their own, Six. Things survive, things travel from moon to moon, person to person. Or maybe I'd be in the library with Huang reading up on old translations. When the Empire was founded, they threw out the old way of writing, erased the past almost entirely. But it's all still there, you just have to know where to look. You don't read ancient, do you? I would not know where to begin, mistress. Approach a villager. Good faith, master. My apologies, Ioshan. My pigs need me. Please, if you could just... The locals don't seem surprised to see me. Or to see you. I imagine robots collect supplies from here routinely. The locals, I know, do not seem pleased to see you. Did I do something wrong? I missed it. Perhaps that is all. Alright, so that's just back to where I was there. So, just once again, I am Obi-Wan Pez. Welcome to Ensimplex Pachinko. I am a mathematics and gaming streamer.
Three paths met at the heart of the village. I could imagine them all sitting
And a math
around
teacher.
here in the evenings, sipping rucker and singing. It seemed nice.
Oh, another thing. Yes. I know my friend Janika was here. I met one of your villagers. She knew him. That was a bad idea. She? What was her name, this villager? She didn't say. No matter. I can guess. If we had seen your friend, if he had met with an accident among us, what would Iox do? I just want to know where he is. We have not seen him. Now leave. I don't understand why you're lying to me. The man sighed. Your friend was here. He left in a ship. Then something exploded in the sky. I do not know if that was your friend. Good faith to you, lady. Good faith to you. Is that an inscription? It has been mostly scratched away. More glyphs. Is that a single word? Most likely not. Ancient scribes didn't always trouble to put in their spaces. I don't think they expected their writing to be read. So here we see there's a pretty obvious connection, and again, we know that there might be a space in between two things. It could be anywhere, so you don't necessarily know exactly what's there. So I could put in goddess here, for example, but then this leaves out this comma over here, and this space over here is water, and then this is going to say like, no, I must have used the wrong words, and it will take out one of the incorrect ones that you have in the phrase. So holy water at this point, she'll look at this and say, well, this is likely going to be correct. Short, simple, almost a pictogram. And we already know holy, so a well being a source of holy water seems to make sense. What do you see there? Can you read this inscription? A child could read it. Cool. The symbols simply say water. It says more than that. We have lived here for many years, Ioshan. Jeez. Definitely no robots here. No reason for Remba to come here at all. Come on. I don't imagine Remba met that woman on Iox after all. Come on, man. Stop. Stop walking. Jeez. Good faith to you. Please keep it quick. I don't want to talk to you. Cool. One of the things I did notice is that when you approach an area... remark. Seems Janiki knew he was in trouble. I don't think we're going to find him. You are an archaeologist, mistress. You may yet dig him up. Please, Six. That's cruel. Is it? My apologies, mistress. I was merely trying to be factual. Alright, so I don't see anything there. We'll go back into here and try to find anything at these rear houses. I don't think we're going to find anything, but you never know. There's plenty of rice stored up. This moon produces a surplus, mistress. For what good it does them. What does all the water here come from? Where does all the water here come from? There is a wellspring in the rock below us, mistress. The soil is permanently saturated by it. By my faith, it stinks here. I do not believe pigs are known for their hygiene, mistress. I can't breathe. Why do they build on stilts, do you think? Surely it doesn't flood up here. The mud, perhaps, mistress. Or perhaps animals sleep underneath. That's also true. So there's a building style called Adirondack that uses wood and basically stilts up a nice little hut area where you can sleep underneath, and then there's a space that goes over the top. Are all the moons in the nebula like this, mistress? I have seen so very few. So the Adirondacks that our camp had were interesting in that respect. Oh, another thing. Yes. No one else in this village would talk to me. I don't want to show them anything. Forgive them. We understand things are not the same on Iox as they are here. And how are things here? On Marazi, one requires an introduction before talking to anyone. But you're talking to me. I have had some dealings with outsiders before. You could say I am forward. Let's show them the crystal. Found a lump of crystal. You are very lucky. Do you recognize it? No. You found it after all, and not I. Cool. Do you recognize this kind of stone? No. But you will not buy anything from me with a trinket. Show him the brooch. Do you recognize this? Please stop showing me everything you carry in your little bag. Please, leave us be. Back to the fields. So if there are no robots, why are there ramps everywhere? Iox uses robots to collect produce from moons in the Protectorate. Seems like it would be easy to stop the robots taking anything. Pull up a few walkways and put some stones in the way. I cannot imagine that would make any difference, mistress. Robots are versatile. So how did you end up in a hole on Iox? I have no idea, mistress. I do not know when I was buried, or what I had done to deserve it. Professor Mayari assures me it is part of the Great Loop. Doesn't it bother you? That you don't know where you came from? I understood you were an orphan, mistress. Does that not bother you? Well, of course it does. But orphan children aren't like robots. They're common. Everyone knows how children get made. Indeed, mistress. Orphans are a waste by oh. I can't think why they keep giving me robots. Every time I break or lose one, they give me another. It's like they're trying to get rid of them. University cares for your well-being, mistress. Alright, so, apologies there to anybody who is an orphan and read that one. That was, whew. It's a bit problematic. There can't be that many more robots left. There were a few hundred in my cohort. How many cohorts are there? I am unsure. I have some connection with my cohort, but nothing beyond that. At any rate, we would all appreciate it if you took more care of your robots. Fine. I think we're probably good. Back to the ship, 6. We've done all we can here for now. This way, mistress. And so we left the warm, wet fields of Mersey. Remba left a crystal for Mayari to find, but what was he trying to tell her? We could otherwise sail to Iox and tell Mayari what we've learned so far about Remba. I am quite certain in my analysis, mistress. The crystal we found, mistress, and the element inside the brooch. They originate from a moon somewhere on the edge of the cyclones. Cyclones is a dangerous wild. Crystal moon somewhere in here. Unknown site somewhere in here, so probably right in there. I know enough to find this site now. There's nothing there but clouds and storms. I am aware of that, mistress. I wonder, what exactly did Remba discover? Is it foolish to follow him? I don't want whatever happened to Remba happening to us. I will do my best to keep you safe, mistress. But then again, I imagine Remba's robot said the same thing. Alright, gonna plot a course for the Crystal Moon. Are there other ships on the rivers, mistress? I have not seen any. So at this point it doesn't really matter where we go. I'm just kind of going straight-ish. There are other ships out here. But you rarely see them. Everyone goes at the same speed. So no one ever passes you by. People who like people stay on the ground. It's an interesting condemnation. You do not like people, mistress. Yeah. That explains a lot. Thanks. Tell me. Is there anything you do like? Well then. I like silence? That's a lie. Oops. You can always hit backspace if you miss a turn. That sends you right back to where you were before. Okay, seriously. Said that way. They really didn't like Iox on Mersey. I always thought Iox treated other moons well. My findings suggest the crystal moon should be in this vicinity. Right, so now we can check possible chunk of crystal Remba left. So it comes from here. Did Remba really travel this way? I can find this site now. So there, this is the only one in this area that we can find. So we're pretty much good at this point. We are on one road to get there. There's a rock up ahead. What have we found? Above the crystal moon. Why would anybody come to a lonely spot like this? We have arrived, mistress. The moon below us is rich in purple iolite crystals, but there is no surface flow. We cannot land the ship. Remba must have gone down somehow. Indeed. Most likely he used a hopper. We might do the same. I don't want to get stuck down there, Six. If we hopper down, how do we get back up? I am fitted with a source, as is customary for robots. The eye aboard the Nightingale appears intact. We will be able to ensure our safe return. Is it safe? Not really, mistress, no. This moon does not have any air. I will have to go down alone. But you're sure the iolite crystal came from here? Statistically certain, mistress. The moon is rich in deposits of iolite. He said that, so. Please wait here. Just don't take too long.
A moment later, the robot was gone, and I was alone in the dark.
Wonder if the hopper worked. Can't see anything moving down there. This is the quickest you've lost a robot yet, Aaliyah. What were you up to, Rempa? If you didn't find robots on Mersey, what did you find? Mistress. I found something, mistress. Tool chest. An engineer's chest. Box. This is Janiki's? The probability is high. I believe the moon below us was once a quarry. But this box is no artifact. I hope there isn't a snake in here. On an airless moon. A roll of cloth. Thick fabric. Janiki, what is this? Some kind of robe? But it's hundreds of years old. And there's something stitched along the belt. Tiny characters picked out in darker thread. Oh boy. This is a long one. Let me think. So this has the piece for goddess at the end. And again, this lambda at the beginning of both of these kind of looks like it should be something to do with a person, like a noun essentially. So we have here a lambda in the front followed by multiple hashes and this swish dot. So most likely, again, since this is a person, this is either guardians or we. It doesn't really, it's not really reminiscent of like guardians of anything. Like there's no protection symbol, if you know what the protection symbol looks like. But it makes sense that it could be we because we're talking about person and then many. So we'll hold on to that for a little while, see what happens. And then here we have persons up front. So again, pilgrims seems fairly reasonable there. And here something with holy. And again, stuff up front. We don't know what this is, but it looks like if we have this double comma in the front, it looks like this is something like an action word, so a verb. So here, we pilgrims pray, we pilgrims follow. Since it has holy inside of it, it looks like pray seems the most reasonable. So we don't actually know what these words are, but we'll try it. I could still change my mind, but we pilgrims pray? Ceremonial robes, I suppose. There's more in here. This is a model carved from brass. It's beautifully preserved. I found an inscription on the base. Oh boy! So it looks like we have the symbol for we in here toward the end here. This one is a broken fragment from an even larger phrase. So with the breaks on the end, these may be incomplete. So again, we have like gods or goddess. We have that here, so that we can at least try to put in. Us or we have that. And so it says, okay, I'm feeling confident about my translation of gods. So that one's there. And us must be correct too. All right, so we're good there. So the other two, the front and back, dropped away because we don't have enough information about them, which leaves one word to guess. Gods blank us, which was a brass model. So gods protect us. We have this, the pilgrims part here. It's like people, action. We have buried, and we have something with pilgrims. Pilgrims had holy inside of it. This does not. So this is kind of like, if this is buried, this is action. And then this symbol here, we know that the wiggly bits were water. So then water with like steeple on top might be either island or an earth or something like that. So an action with earth. So I think, I can't be 100%, but I also think that this symbol here has something to do with protection as well. So we're going to go with that and see what happens. Gods protect us. Blessing for safety. I wonder if it worked. But that's not all. Hey! There's also a telescope embossed with an image of a knotted rope. How did Remba get his hands on all this? No inscription on the casing. Most likely this comes from the same site as the model. This should be fine. This new find should be helpful in pinning down where these were made. So are these leads, or are these things that Rembo was after? Just wait, mistress. I will consider the matter. Can you work out where the robe originated? I fear so. It is not a good location, mistress. But Professor Mayari was keen that we found Master Renba. And I'm sure that Master Renba is equally keen to be found. Show me where he went, Six. I'm not exactly certain, mistress. But I believe Renba traveled far from home, into the eye of the cyclones. Alright, so we want to go back to Iox at this point. Let her know that his ship probably blew up. Now, at some point, sailing to Iox and Iosian space via the wires and the Verdant Pass, there is the possibility that we can come across random locations that appear. I've been analyzing the purple robe we found in Remba's tool chest, mistress. Ooh. The fabric appears to be of significant age. Is it the kind of robe that would need a brooch to hold it? Indeed it is, mistress. I would go so far as to say I can detect the pinholes, mistress. Hold on, Six. I cannot hold on, mistress. We're in one piece. We appear to be. Another rabbit. Getting a lot of them. This whole area is wild. We better check the hull when next we land. We will need to turn right shortly, mistress. Okay, let's see, where are we? We are down here. It should not matter which way we go. Let's go right just 'cause.
They say on Iox that the rivers flow with the souls of the dead. Anything to scare you to the ground.
Ooh, there we go. Found something. Approach the shipwreck. I would guess it dates from ancient times, mistress. I will investigate.
The robot hoppered away, and I was alone. Then it came back.
Get something good? I just recovered a charred nebula chart. I wonder how long it's been out there. Doesn't have any written characters in ancient scripts along a river. That's too bad. The path turns right, mistress. is here? No idea. Okay. At least nothing yet. Mistress, there's some kind of wreck some distance away on the right. Excellent. There we go. The site appears to date from the earliest days of the nebula, Mistress. Ooh. I found a scratched, hefty axe. Must have come from somewhere nearby. No inscription. Curses. I guess that this comes from the same source as this charred chart. So this will, again, start narrowing down the possibilities for some sort of... there we go. No, these are dead ruins, right. This will start narrowing down some possibilities later if we find something related to each of them. So there's something probably in this area here that's going to let us know, or lead us to another very interesting archaeological dig site. Ocean space. Remba must have really wanted to hide what he hid in that box of his. I wonder why. Set us down 6. Alright. So, I think we're going to maybe get through this conversation and then head on back. Or head on out for the night. We should tell Professor what we think happened to Remba. I want to avoid going to the Cyclones for a very particular reason. What do you think of the sculpture? It has a pleasing balance to it. Worth the time it took to make? When there are people on Elbereth who don't eat? Are your own exploits worth the time they take, Mistress? Should we not be making history rather than reviewing it? Oh, be quiet, 6. Tree of Knowledge. Or so they call it. Each branch grows more branches. Also keep in mind this square within squares is a symbol that we came across a little bit earlier. Except for the ones that die, fall off, and are forgotten. Which is where we come in, I suppose. I went outside the university grounds once exploring. This is a very beautiful moon. You can tell it was once lush, fertile. There must have been a huge forest, lakes, rivers. They're all but dry now.
The library is a quiet spot to think, except when Huang's in there, which of course he always is.
Aaliyah, you're back. Did you find Renba? It's complicated. That's sounding like maybe you didn't. Did he go native on some... Oh, don't do that. No. Heard there are places out there where people get up to all sorts of things. He's dead, Huang. Oh. Are you sure? Quite sure. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know him, but professors... They're supposed to die in soft chairs waiting for the fountain, watching the fountain. Listen, Huang. How old are these books of yours? Some are really old. But not, not ancient. They date back to the first Empress or so. Why aren't there any books older than the first Empress? I don't know. They just aren't. I suppose they were all lost in the fall. Have you found any artifacts you want me to look at? Quite a few. Charred chart found in the wash. Now, I've seen something similar if I remember right, only this one was inscribed. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. This was marked onto a scrumpled river map. It was found in an Elberethian house. I don't know if it's related, of course. Another scrap. I see we and maybe protect in there. Protect us. Let's see now. So we have here this script in the middle, which looks similar to the one with the pilgrims, but we don't know what that is. And then we have the comma and the I at the end of it. Somewhat similar to water. I'm going to go with source protect us. I don't know. Sources protect us? Do you have any more like that? Let me see. No, nothing comes to mind. Do you want me to archive the charred chart? I'm not finished with it yet. No. Well, of course. Show another artifact. I've had a few finds recently. Oh, yes? Key? Sure. What do you think of this key? Interesting. I've seen something a bit like that, I think, only inscribed. Now, where's that volume? Here. It's a sketch of a thick, short-stemmed key. It was found floating in the wash near Elbereth years ago. I don't think we have anything like that. Ugh. Ah. Thing. Let's see. I think this might be secret? Hidden? This makes sense for thing because these are all parts of speech essentially. So this is like, thing. And then I think the comma at the end, the backwards comma, is like a element. So elemental force, in this case water. And in other cases, plenty of other things. I think secret because it's a key that's hiding something. Does secret thing work? Any more like that? Let me see. No, nothing comes to mind. I'll take the key to the archives then. I'm not finished with it yet. I think I can give him a third thing. I can't help but notice you seem to keep back a lot of things. Things that belong here in the university, where they will be safe. They're important for my research. They aren't artifacts, they're objects. They have purposes, places, histories. I need them to understand the nebula. Right. Of course. Sorry to, you know. Aaliyah, about Remba. Did you tell Mayari already? Why? Oh, no reason. Just interested in how she'd take it, that's all. Since you went off looking for him, I began to wonder if they were closer than I'd realized. I don't always notice these things, you know. I haven't told her yet. Show him another artifact. This one he gets to keep. Scratched axe. Interesting. I've seen something else like that. I think only this one had some glyphs on it. Of course. Now where is it? Ah. Really got to tidy up sometime. It was a crude chisel. It was found while exploring the university foundations here on Iox back in my predecessor's day. Whew. More words I don't know. Cool. Alright, so this is found here at the university. So Emperor's Obedience, Master, or Cut. Cut could work, but, like, what is all this? Right, Robot. Person Robot. Like a Craftsman, maybe? This I don't actually know. I'm just taking a guess here. I've never actually seen this one before. So robots are like this worker, but without the person attached to the front, maybe. So this is like a worker, person work, person robot, verb, teach. So that would help with master. Yeah. Master craftsman. That could work. I like this. So I will suggest master craftsman, and hopefully later on this will nope. Oh, hey, how about this? This is the inscription found on a dented heavy pick. It was found buried here on Iox back in my mother's time. He had that kind of somber look on his face. I figured it wasn't. Alright, so heavy pick. Something with, maybe something with stone. Verb. Verb. Protect. Verb. Thing. Verb. Something protect. Verb. Something person. Or noun. What's the other one? Holy. The lead is going to be the part of speech. So holy is an adjective. So this should probably also be an adjective. If it's a heavy pick, hard, maybe bent. Let's go with hard. Strike hard with a pick. Seems reasonable. Again, we're going to be able to figure all this out much later. Well, that'll do for now. Any more like that? I mean, no, nothing comes to mind. Okay. Here you go. Good faith to you. I'll be back shortly. Books on all topics. It'd hurt Huang's feelings if I said so, but these books are all recent. Most from the last 50 years or so. I'm gonna wait for him to come back and see if we can get the last little bits of conversation out. Alright, who are we gonna see? Folsom, good evening. We are unfortunately just finishing up, but I will raid over to... Let's see, we got Boss Lady B doing Elite Dangerous and Syzygy, who is Scott Manley, doing Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Affecting Reality. Interesting. I had a different person that I was possibly going to raid, but JCM's Discord. Oh, hi. Yeah, that game is great. I just finished the major... Huang's standing right there. Come on, dude. Leah, you waited. Yes, I did. I best get on with some work myself. Okay, just real quick there. Yeah, so played Control, finished the main storyline, and we were just trying to finish up a couple of little things. Who's this Mazwa you're always reading about? So we defeated the mold in the basement, and then went on, found some other ones that were out there. Unfortunately, my my system started acting up and getting really slow. So, yeah. uh, it's not what I asked. The ashtray maze is quite amazing, but just want to know what's going on. I know Poets of the Fall from Max Payne 2 back in the day, and they did Late Goodbye for that, and then they did Control for this one and a couple other songs. I was like, wait, what? That's amazing. So I was really, really interested in the fact that they were back on this again. And then I hit like the mute copyrighted music thing, and it still played. I was like, okay, I don't really understand that, but sure, why not? Oh, interesting. I had not known about that. Max Payne, Alan Wake, and Control allegedly in the same universe. I don't think I know really all that much about Alan Wake. I mean, I've watched some other people play it and seen some wikis, but not really paid that much attention. Rem is almost certainly dead. Almost certainly. That's the best you could do? No, Professor. We returned before we had properly resolved the issue. We have a lead. Local people saw a fireball in the sky. Surprised the music isn't copyrighted. Yeah. Yeah. The Old Gods of Asgard and Poets of the Fall, both. I was just... I mean, didn't tell me this before. Yeah, and the fact that when I clicked mute copyrighted music, which is an option in the game, that those all survived. So allegedly, those were not the problem. The loop tells us that the past is prophecy, and if we're not ready for it, we will not survive it. What are you hoping to find? Everything on Iox was destroyed. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's what Remba was doing for me out there, trying to learn how the fall will occur. But Remba found something inside one of his robots. Found the cause of the fall? I don't know. The robot told him something. Set him to digging up something on a moon near Elbereth. He hired laborers from Elbereth markets to do the work. And then I heard nothing until he sent me that brooch. But the robot knew about the fall, Leah. The robots know everything. They might know, but they can't remember. 6 barely remembers being awoken. Re-woken. The robots have no memory of what came before. Before they were buried here, they were wiped clean. But I don't think a robot can truly forget. No more than a soul in the loop can be lost. The loop sustains all, Leah. All. What do you want me to do? The fall is coming, Leah. Faster than we think. Find what Remba found. We have to know what will happen. Is there anything else I can do for you? Please, Leah. Leave me to think. One last thing, Aaliyah, every time, I swear. If you notice anything strange about your new robot, you tell me. I think I understand you. Robots are valuable things, Aaliyah. I want to know immediately if anything happens to this one. I hope that's clear. Okay. I'm glad to hear it. Do you believe her, mistress? Do you believe in the loop? Of course not. It's wishful thinking, or fear. But still, Renba found something. Robots are stupid, that's the problem. They run well up to a point. Then they throw themselves over a cliff. Throw themselves, or are they pushed? It's usually always been the robot's fault. Now surely we must try to follow Janiki's trail further. Shall we leave now, mistress? Not just yet, because we're going to go... There's one more thing that I know we can find. If Rembo was hiring laborers from Elbereth, then the lady who runs the market there should remember him. Can't be many Iosians hiring workers from her. What market, mistress? Yeah. It's up in the Catkiss. Think you're going to hate it. Just a little. So, Folsom, have you ever seen this game before? Heaven's Vault? Do you like other robots, 6? I have not. This is an excellent game. So, real quick. So Heaven's Vault, I am a mathematician and a math teacher in the Mid-Atlantic region of the United States, and I really, really like just generally like puzzles, mathy type stuff, logic stuff, and what I had decided after I was a physics major, and that started not working out too well, was that I was going to go into math education, and then if that didn't pan out, or like my second thought that I had was I really like linguistics, like trying to figure out cool language stuff. And then this game comes out, and I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. So you get all sorts of inscriptions like this, and then you just try to figure out, piece together all the little things that will build the um, language. And, you're kind of working off of what you found inside the game. You can triangulate, and if you get like two or three, maybe more, inscriptions of the same word, you will verify or deny what that one word can be, or has to be, or can't be. Usually, a second appearance, if you're wrong, will say, no, that's not right. And you uh, go back on it and say, let's try something else. But usually, a second or third appearance, potentially more, will verify a word. So I will uh, continue playing this game for a few more sessions just because it is really cool, and it's more story driven. It's not like, high octane or anything like that. But there are some parts where it gets like you get a little anxious because it's like, what is going on here? It's just really cool. Other games that I will always watch on stream. Psykit, Psykit, this morning just finished her run of what I did as my very first stream, which was Outer Wilds. Beautiful, wonderful. Everybody was sitting around and crying and having a good time because that is a brilliant game. Um, love Outer Wilds. And the let's see, yeah, there's a bunch of games that I will love playing on stream, like as many. Yeah, I'm guessing you finished that one though. All right, I haven't spent much time with them, but have you met some? A few. They've always struck me as rather predictable. One way to put it. All right, now we get another inscription here, which was the entire reason that I came here. Look at this thing, 6. Did you know it's the oldest thing on Iox? Or so they say. Evidently, it is said to be a sundial mistress. There's an inscription. This one is a phrase run together. Emperor protects, and then we don't have that last one. I believe you can be confident of your translation for protects now, mistress. So as we go, we get more and more of these correct. There is somewhere a phrase book that like you can spend hours just flipping through it, and I will not necessarily subject people to that, but all right. So thing, many, person, I think is usually what we've done before. So I think Emperor protects people. I wonder if anyone knew that was there. Touch it. What do you make of it, 6? Seems to me the sundial could never have worked, mistress. I am very much American neutral. However, I do have tinges, mostly of Northeast. So New England is where I grew up. My parents were uh, originally from up that way, and and I've spent most of my uh, well, I've spent pretty much all of my um, post bachelor's time in Mid Atlantic, mostly between Baltimore, D.C. And yeah, I do know a few people from Richmond, so it's kind of I do pick up a little bit. few other robots might help you understand yourself. There is nothing to understand. Mistress, I do not wish to discuss this further. Okay, as you like. Alright, but I appreciate your understanding, Mistress. Thank you. So we're going to go back to the ship and stop here for the night. So we left the university. So, I think what we want to do is go to Elbereth, pick up the trail for where Janiki picked up some workers. Elbereth is closer. And then eventually work our way out to the, whatever that is. What is that? Rimba's crystal. It's beautiful enough. That doesn't explain what Rimba was doing with it. I thought inside the box there was actually another inscription inside the lid. Wonder if he'll ever know what was so special about this robe. I wonder if we'll ever know what was so special about this robe. I mean, he was a cultist, so... Look out there. It seems to go on forever. Mistress, what are the River Six? Flows of oxygen, hydrogen, ice. Their velocity keeps them coherent. So why do the rivers wind? Why aren't they straight? I do not have enough data, Mistress. Why does water swirl when mixed with wine? Evidently it is most mysterious. Alright. So we're going to call it quits here, and I think... Let's see, where are we? Tonight, let's go see Boss Lady B. So she is a variety streamer who is doing Elite Dangerous most of the time. She has a group called Valhalla's Vanquished. Yep, no problem. See you later. I now need to actually reopen Firefox. Damn it. Thanks for stopping in, Folsom. I will hopefully see you again. And, come on. Come on. Yep, oh, right. So on Wednesday nights, I do math streaming, so homework help typically, or just I'm going to talk about math in a hopefully slightly different way, or I'm trying to work out like how I'm going to teach stuff. So I do kind of first draft here. And then on Friday nights, I do gaming streaming. And then now that school's starting to pick up again in a couple weeks, I'm probably going to be sticking to just those 2 nights, possibly one more additional one on the weekend. And then, yeah, it's mostly just going to be Wednesday night math, Friday night gaming, and we'll see how it goes from there, because, you know, some things can be a little crazy. Thanks for the follow, too. Let's see. I'm going to raid out to Boss Lady B. Yeah. And it's very much like, I'm not going to do the problem. I'm going to do a different problem. And make sure that we, you know, help the students actually understand how it all works. So, at any rate, thank you very much for coming. Thank you everybody else who's coming for video on demand and anything else like that. I will see you all later. This is Obi-Wan Pez for N Simplex Pachinko. Have a good night.